This is RLCraft, and I'm going to be playing it in hardcore mode. As you can see here, you can't simply punch down a tree because that does not drop any logs. It drops nothing. You have to get a piece of gravel until you get a piece of flint from that gravel. You got to take that flint, smack it on a rock to get a flint shard. Then you got to go punch some tree leaves to get some sticks. Take that stick with that flint shard and get a knife. Then you can go cut some grass like you used to do as a kid. Use that to make some string. Turn that string and that stick and the other flint shard into a hatchet. Once you get a shiny brand new hatchet, now you're ready to fall a tree. Once you fall that tree though, you can't simply just put it in your crafting grid like in vanilla Minecraft. You have to put it on the ground and right click it with your hatchet to turn it into planks and sticks respectively. RLCraft also has locational based health. You get 3 hearts of health on each body part, 3 hearts of damage to your head or body, and you are dead. RLCraft also makes it much harder by adding experience based skill system where you need level 4 in mining to mine iron, level 8 for iron tools and armor. RLCraft also adds hundreds of new dangerous mobs like dragons that will one-shot you. There are other dangerous sea creatures like sea serpents, banshees, lurkers, joust, and sirens. If locking everything behind a skill system, locational based health, and hundreds of deadly new mobs doesn't sound hard enough, it also adds 3 new bosses with thousands of HP. First one being Rahovar, he can only be summoned in the Nether. The next one being Asmodeus, he can only be summoned in the End Dimension, and he has a literal machine gun. The last one being Amalgalich, he can only be summoned in this new dimension called the Lost Cities that is riddled with deadly parasites, and Amalgalich has the ability to one-tap the strongest player and max health, max armor, and I plan on taking them all out in this series. I spawn in, this is my 22nd created world. I'm not just going to keep on resetting worlds until I get a good spawn. I'm legitimately trying every single world that I get. Some worlds ended almost immediately, other worlds I've gotten to iron armor and iron tools. The last world before this one, however, was the farthest that I've gotten so far. I was almost to diamond armor, and I got one-tapped by a blight zombie. Blights are another unfairness that RLCraft throws at you. They glow purple with flames. They have so much extra speed and strength, obviously, if they can one-tap you in full iron armor. Since I did not spawn inside of a village or next to a crafting table, I decided to make myself a stone dagger. A stone dagger is the only weapon that you can make without a crafting table. All it requires is 4 rocks crafted into a piece of cobblestone and 1 stick. And it's great to have a little bit of offense to kind of save yourself from more unfairness along the way, such as the sea serpent that is on top of me as soon as I was spawned in. I pull out my stone dagger and I debate on do I want to try to kill the sea serpent or not. Well, let's just be real, it would be the one ending my life and starting my 23rd world. It's a good thing I decided better against it, because in the distance I see a friendly outpost. A friendly outpost is a villager encampment. It doesn't have a waystone, but it does have villagers to trade with, tons of books, enchanted books in some of the chests, chainmail armor, iron weapons, a bow, and some arrows, for sure. I see a creeper. I don't know how it spawned, but it almost took me out. Luckily, I was quick enough that it didn't even damage me. I make my way over to the friendly outpost, and I'm going to loot it for everything that it has. As you notice on the bottom there, instead of just a hunger bar, there's also a thirst bar. So on my way over, I find some sand, and I'm going to take that sand so I can cook it up, turn it into glass, make myself some glass bottles so I can start to purify water. You can drink regular water just straight out the lake by crouching down with an empty hand, but drinking unclean water, unpurified water rather, will give you the thirst debuff always, and sometimes parasites, and the parasites can kill you. I make my way to the hidden room in the front of the outpost, take every single book there is, loot every single barrel, and get the 2 partially filled XP tomes. An XP tome can hold 30 levels when they're all the way full. These ones are barely full at all, but still, any XP is better than no XP on day 1. I use the first one, and the first thing I'm going to level up is defense, because level 8 in defense will make it where I can wear iron armor. All you need is level 4 for chainmail that spawns here, but I really don't feel safe until I have iron armor, and then I'm really not safe. Let's just be real. So I use the first XP tome to level up, and then I put XP back into it to kind of min-max all of the XP that I have. I use the second one. It gets me all the way up to level 17 so that I can level up all the way to level 8 in defense. I also want to level up agility to level 2 so that I can start to use a bow, since I know a bow spawns here, and it is good to have some form of long-range combat in the early game. I also want to level up mining. It takes mining level 4 before you can mine iron ore. And iron ore is very useful, not just for armor and weapons, but for also trading with villagers. I want to level up my attack and magic. It takes magic level 8 before you can use heart crystals to get more max health. Max health is definitely what I'm after. 3 hearts of health on your head and body is really hard to survive with. I take the chainmail armor, even though it's not iron armor and I can equip iron armor. I want to save what I do have and just equip the chainmail, because it is close on most of the armor, like the helmet and boots, to iron armor. Even though there is a crafting table that spawns in the structure, I still get flint so I can make a flint knife. And the reason for this flint knife is so that I can get myself some string to make wool, and so that I can turn the leather armor here in this chest into just leather. Since there's so much leather armor there, I'll have quite a bit of leather left over. With that leather, I'm going to end up crafting a backpack, but I will need wool before I do that. I go ahead and craft some furnaces, and I make myself a stone axe. After I made the furnaces, I don't really have any fuel for them, so I need to go tree chopping so that I can have something to fuel the furnaces. 1 or 2 trees should be enough. Once I turn that wood into planks to kind of like min-max, I don't want to use full wood because it literally has the same value as planks, but you can get 2 planks from the wood in RLCraft. I also need some plant fiber to make that plant string so that I can get wool to make myself a backpack. I totally forgot that I was already level 8 in defense, and I made myself a stone tower shield when I could have made an iron one. Anyway, I carry on, make the wool, craft myself a backpack. Backpacks are king, in my opinion, in early game RLCraft, because you want to carry as much loot as possible, because you want to explore as much as possible. You can't really just make a base in one spot and stay there. You really want to explore, go to battle towers and different structures to get as much loot and baubles as possible. I got lucky, and the backpack had a modifier where I got an extra heart on my head. It was half-hearted, but it still gave me 4 hearts on my head, which doesn't make me feel safe, but it makes me feel better. I go along collecting all of the bookshelves, even though I got quite a bit from the secret room in the basement. You can never have too many books. Trading with librarians is the only way to get god tier enchantments in RLCraft, because the enchantment table doesn't give you the good ones like Supreme Sharpness and Advanced Protection 4. You can get like Advanced Protection 1, but that's not as good as Prop 4. I checked the secret chest in the staircase, get some healing supplies, because you can't eat to regen your health like in regular Minecraft. You have to use healing supplies or the regeneration effect. Pull out the bed and sleep off my first night here. I go in, and this is the room with the enchanted books. I get really lucky, and I get 2 feather falling 3 books, a looting book, and a prot 4 book. The prot 4 book makes me feel so much better. As soon as I can wear diamond armor, I'm going to put prot 4 on a diamond helmet. I take the book and quill, combine it with a compass to make myself an antique atlas. An antique atlas is RLCraft's version of a map. It generates only after you have been there, as long as you have it in your inventory. You can combine it with another empty antique atlas and make 2, so you could like leave one at home and leave one and have one in your inventory. And if you ever lost it, you would have that one constantly updating in a chest at your house. I go ahead and make myself a bronze boomerang so that I have some mid-distance fighting capabilities, and then I make myself a bronze pike. Pikes are a 2-handed weapon, so it will give you a mining fatigue debuff, but it also has the ability of reach 2, so you can reach mobs from a lot further back. I take the silver ingots that I got to make myself a pair of boots, but the quality on them was terrible, so I smelted them. I remembered that I was an idiot and I couldn't have made an iron shield in the first place, so I go ahead and rectify that and make one now. I go ahead and finish sorting my inventory, putting everything that I don't need right away in my backpack. Obviously, none of the enchanted books I can use right now, because you need level 12 in building before you can even use an anvil. I go ahead and go to the next room to get the hay bales. The hay bales are useful for trading hay, or wheat rather, with a farmer villager. Trading with villagers is the safest way of getting XP early game. I go up to the hidden room in the attic. Luckily it has some paper there. Even though I got all these books, you can't trade with the librarian the books until you unlock that trade, which is their second trade, but paper is always their first trade. So I need as much paper as possible. Spare leather, flint, and string never hurt anybody either. Luckily, I stumble across a farmer villager. I don't get a whole lot of levels or emeralds from him, but every little bit counts in the early game. I go ahead and use that XP to level up my attack. I want to get level 8 in attack so I can use iron weapons as soon as possible. I made this stone saber and it does less than 4 damage, which is kind of crazy, especially of all the dangerous mobs there are in RLCraft. So I want to get an iron saber as soon as possible so I can be doing a little bit more than 4 damage. The saber is the weapon that I chose for the damage negation that it has. It's like the reach 2 on the pike. The saber and rapier has damage negation, and it also has an added damage bonus against unarmored mobs with less than 2 armor points. But in version 2.9.3, like this is, they made all of the mobs pretty much have armor except for some of the passive ones, so it's not really good against hostile mobs, but it does give you that damage negation effect, so that's really the reason why I went with that. I have my stone axe there for taking out passive mobs quickly, since they don't fight back in this version of RLCraft. I go ahead and explore, mark my antique atlas with the port city that I found. Also, it was a boat ride over there, so I crafted myself a pair of earplugs in case I came across any sirens. I didn't want them singing their lullabies and pulling me from my boat on my way over and then end up getting killed by a sea serpent or something like that. In this port city, it's very, very good structure to find early on. It has at least 20 villagers in it to trade with. It has tons of wool and other loot laying around. Not really any XP tomes, but it does have these iron blocks here. And these iron blocks are very good for obviously making iron armor and trading with villagers. I go ahead and get all of the bookshelves that I see on my way to get the books. I find an iron axe. I want to smelt that down for the iron ingots that it will give me. And as I'm doing that, I am getting a little bit cold. Not too bad, so I make myself a pair of wool boots to kind of negate the coldness for now. Go ahead and cook up all of the meat that I got from the passive mobs that I killed on my way over here. Grab some more wool because you can never have too much. It's used for making bandages. So, yeah, in my opinion, you can never have too much wool. Come across this iron ore deposit here. And as I'm mining it starts to get dark. I'm going to sleep as early as possible so that no hostile mobs or as few hostile mobs as possible spawn as can be. As I'm mining the iron ore, of course, RLCraft shows me what it's all about again and spawns a geonock. This is why mining in RLCraft, besides the hostile mobs in the caves, is a bad idea. I take him out. He gets me down to 1 heart of health on my head. I was pretty scared, but it still didn't stop me from getting that last iron ore block there. Turn around and I'm hearing this Afrit spawn in this little tiny structure here with lava in it. I have no idea why the villagers are keeping this little stone brick thing with lava in it so close to them, knowing that it's going to spawn these mobs. But I figured it was some free XP, but I kind of thought wrong. He set me on fire, and before I could even get my water bucket out, the damage was already done. It was only left with 1.5 hearts on my body, which is half health on my body. Not too close of a call, but I was still pretty scared. So I go back with my pipe that has that reach 2 ability, and I hit him once. He hits me back, and I end up giving up because he's doing more damage to me, obviously, than I'm doing to him, and it's not really worth it. 1.5 hearts on the head is pretty scary to me. I continue exploring through the port city. I find a zombie villager. When I take him out, he wants to spawn a geist out of him, and then I kind of reach through this window trying to take him out. He's hiding from me, but I kind of play peekaboo whack-a-mole here and end up taking him out. Geists, after you take them out, they have these like shadow flames, and they give you the decay effect. It's nothing that's gonna harm you any further than what the fire already did, but it does keep you from healing. I go ahead and find every single librarian villager that I can. This first one ended up having rapid load, or atomic deconstructor, I'm sorry. Atomic deconstructor is more of an endgame enchant because it doesn't do you a whole lot of good at the start of the game. It basically has a chance to instantly kill a mob that is not a boss when it procs, but it doesn't proc very often. It's a very low chance of it procking, so it's not really worth wasting your XP on putting it on a weapon because it's not going to benefit you a whole lot. I go ahead and mark down every single librarian villager that I find in the trades that they have in my atlas. I'm still cold with my wool boots on, so I go ahead and craft me some pants. I stumble across a baby zombie, and I figure I was going to take him out, but baby zombies are kind of deadly, so I'm a scared little kid, and I pillar up on some wooden planks. I pillared up too high, and before I could lower myself enough to reach him, the Aegises come in, and they take him out for me, so I don't get any XP. Go on and trade with all of the other librarian villagers that I can find. This one sells rapid load 1, which helps you shoot your crossbow faster. I don't have a crossbow at this point, but it is useful for in the future, and he sells subject PE4. Subject PE4 is a pretty decent enchant, not a necessity, but it does give you some extra damage, and it gives you buffs like haste and speed when you're killing mobs. The next villager had subject English 3, which does more damage against smarter hostile mobs such as zombies. In the description it says, but it's nothing that I have ever used before and nothing I'm interested in now. I go ahead and trade with this weaponsmith so that I can trade my iron ingots that I got from the iron blocks to get more XP and more emeralds. The emeralds is just kind of like an added bonus, but the XP is really what I'm after, trying to get to the level of diamond armor. He's also selling a iron sword with levitator 1, which is a kind of cool enchant, kind of like a better version of knockback where it has them levitate instead of knockback, and a diamond sword with education 1. Education 1 isn't the best, but it does give you more XP, and more XP is always better. Go ahead and take out some fully grown wheat here on the side for the little bit of XP that it gives me. Still trying to get up to level 16. I am so close at this point. And I go ahead and steal the watermelons while I'm there. Watermelons don't replenish a whole lot of hunger, but what they do give you is hunger and thirst. So you have to carry around less water bottles when you have watermelon because it replenishes more thirst than it does hunger. I go ahead and find another librarian villager. I really don't have the resources to level him up, so I go ahead and trap him in and mark him down on my atlas. Before I leave, I go to the throne room that has 14 emerald blocks in it here. I only have a stone pickaxe at this point, and I cannot use an iron one because it takes mining level 8. So I go ahead and just stand on top of it to mark it down on my atlas so that I can get it at a later date. After that, I figured I got to level 16 so that I could wear diamond armor. I bought a diamond chestplate from an armorer villager. It did have the heating enchant on it, which in a savanna biome is not the best thing. So I ended up taking it off and putting on my iron chestplate again. As you can see here, the temperature in RLCraft is really just an annoyance. It can kill you if you're not smart about it, but if you're hot, you sit in a bucket of water or a hole of water, and if you're cold, you can use a lava bucket. But it really does keep you from doing a whole lot of stuff, especially early game until you can get some Aussie liners for your armor. As I'm making my way through the savanna biome, trying to find some more structures to loot, I come across a cockatrice. Cockatrices are pretty deadly early game. They give you wither and nausea, and your screen's just like going everywhere. This was actually a pretty close call. I was very scared fighting this thing, but the good thing is they do drop a wither bone if you kill it before it kills you. Wither bones are necessity for making dragon bone weapons. I end up taking them out. Instead of wasting any more bandages, I decide it's nighttime. I'm gonna sleep out the rest of the night after I grab the wither bone, of course. I sleep the night away, and then the next morning, I'm back on my way, adventuring, trying to find anything that can benefit me that I can. Taking out every single passive mob that I come across, and also some hostile ones, such as this crake here. They're not too hard to fight. It wasn't very scary here, so it was pretty much just free XP, so why not take it out? Really, what I want to do, since I can wear diamond armor now, is find a battle tower. Battle towers are pretty broken structures where you can always find diamonds in, and usually some pretty decent baubles on the way up. They are guarded by a battle tower golem, which will shoot you with these explosive fireballs. The one thing that is an annoyance, though, is how I keep on overheating trying to get anywhere. At this point, I've leveled up my attack to where I can use iron weapons. So I go ahead and craft myself a shiny new iron saber and a new stone axe, since the iron saber still doesn't do that much damage. And another fun thing of RLCraft is reapers spawning from killed passive mobs. And as you can see here, you can't really see them, and they also give you this fear effect. which kind of pushes and pulls you, and has you kind of like float a little bit around. But the good thing of taking out a Reaper is they drop obsidian. Obsidian in RLCraft is pretty useful. It was still kind of a close call with a heart and a half on the head. Not the closest call yet, but still a lot closer than I would like. I go ahead and cook up everything, every iron ore that I mined, and every bit of meat that I got from Macas. I always keep maca meat because it gives you absorption hearts, and that can kind of save you when you're in a tight situation. It's not as good as a golden apple, but absorption hearts nonetheless are extra hearts. I end up coming across this structure that is literally just stone bricks with a lapis roof. Lapis blocks obviously will come in handy for enchanting later on. Even though I'm pretty far from that, it can also be used for other things as well though. So I'm going to get every single block that there is here because why not? I don't want to be wasteful. I don't want to leave anything behind. I'm not that type of guy. So I'm going to take everything and then I'm going to use it to craft myself my first bauble, being a potion ring. The potion ring in and of itself isn't going to do anything for me, but they do come with modifiers on them sometimes, and when you equip them, sometimes you get a secondary modifier as well. One had arcane and the other one had nothing with the half-hearted. So now I have another heart of health, and it went to my arm and my leg. Not my body like I wanted, but still, 4 hearts of health on my head still is alright. I come across my first battle tower. A little bit nervous to take it on, but, you know, this is the only way to advance at this point. Battle towers have floor after floor of hostile mobs. The spawners here are so much harder to mine than in regular Minecraft, especially with a stone pickaxe. It takes literally forever. But the spawners don't last forever. They will only spawn a certain number of mobs before it stops spawning altogether, and they just kind of disappear. If you can mine them before, they will drop like spectral silt, gold, sometimes heart crystals, shards, which you can combine 9 of those to make yourself an extra heart container, and quite a bit of XP. Taking out the mobs one by one though is definitely more dangerous, but would yield much more XP. I am not quite strong enough to do that yet, so I'm going to kind of cheese it from the back and try to mine the spawners in between the skeletons shooting their bows at me and zombies trying to hit me. Zombies in RLCraft can actually hit you through that brick wall, which is kind of crazy. But I guess they just wanted to make it totally unfair. These baby zombie spawns, and he wasn't much of a threat. It was kind of a blessing that the water was back here behind the battle tower, because it really slows down mobs before they can get to you. I kind of play peekaboo with my bow here, shot for shot with the skeleton. Unluckily for me though, the skeleton has better aim than I do. So I slowly back up, and he's still hitting me, and I'm still missing my shots. It's really just not going well for me here. So I'm going to retreat a little bit and use a band-aid. And then I see a nymph, which is pretty much free healing at this point. I'm leveling up my building as I'm going, because as I mentioned earlier, level 12 and building is what is needed to use an anvil. I definitely have enough iron to make the anvil at this point. The thing is just getting to level 12 and building so that I can put some prot 4 on my armor so I can feel a little bit more safe. Still playing peekaboo, shooting my bow through that little hole that I mined here. This time I have a little bit better aim than I did last time, taking out most of the skeletons. That guy hit me somehow, some way. I didn't even see him. Still don't see him. but I'm ready. I decide I'm going to go to the other side since that spawner is gone. And of course, there's a bunch of skeletons just camping the spawner there and the hole that I now mined. So even though it didn't work out too well the first time, I didn't die playing peekaboo with the bow through the crack in the battle tower. I'm gonna try it again. It starts to get dark, and I'm gonna go ahead and sleep up so that I can heal the rest of the way for free. The spawner ended up spawning all of the mobs that it could at this point, so I don't even have to worry about mining of that anymore. And now the first floor of the battle tower is almost clear at this point. The mobs do fall from one floor to another, so even though the first floor would be clear, going in there is still dangerous. Usually there are holes on the floor above you, usually has holes in it where the mobs spawn and will just drop down on top of you, and it's really just not fun at all. As you can see here, instead of falling through the floor, they're jumping out of the window at me. And this time my aim is just slightly better, and I'm ended up hitting them. But I got down to 2 hearts on my head. Not that tight of a scenario, but, you know, still, I'm gonna back up and heal before I engage them any closer. Getting up to level 6, the XP falls to the bottom of the little water pond here. I get it. I'm only level 7. And how the levels work is it takes obviously 1 experience level to go to level 2. Once you get to level 2, though, it takes 2 experience levels. Level 3, 3 experience levels. Meaning to get to level 3, you needed 1, then 2, then 3, being 6 levels just to get to level 3. So it takes quite a bit of XP to get to level 12 in building. So I'm going to have to take out a lot more mobs here. After I get to a decent level, I retreat so I can spend my XP to kind of min-max all of the levels that I am getting at this point. Just a couple levels off of that now, and I decide I'm gonna try to get the better loot at the top of the battle tower and use a water bucket to climb the side. The best chests are always at the top. The last 2 floors rather always has the best loot. Opening up a chest on the top or second floor always aggroes the battle tower golem, and he will start blowing up the whole entire battle tower to try to kill you. I didn't quite succeed at making it to the top. I had to jump down after failing water bucketing up. A zombie ended up punching me through the wall, knocking me down, you know, because RLCraft just hates me. So I get down and I'm going to go ahead and get some more building blocks and make myself a tool belt. It got the punishing quality, which isn't bad. It's actually pretty good. As you can see, it was a pink quality there, which means it's one of the rarest, being Undying, Punishing, and Arcane. Undying being the best, Punishing second best, and Arcane technically I guess is third, even though I would rather have max or +2 max health, which is just a blue modifier. After making that tool belt, I don't have enough levels in agility to use it. I see some mobs down here at the bottom I figure I can take out to easily get to level 4 in agility. Luckily, I was right and I could equip that. The tool belt gives you 2 free slots to put tools in, so that I have a little bit more inventory space, so that I can use my iron sword and my iron saber for the added damage negation. But I can swap to my axe when I need to, so it doesn't take me half an eternity to mine my crafting table when I need to. I was trying to be sneaky here and use my water bucket to push the iron golem away, but it did not work like that. I saw this on a YouTube video where you can block the golem's sight to you, and then you can use the carry-on mod that comes in RLCraft to go up and sneak pick up the chest. Then you can jump out of the battle tower's aggro range to drop the chest and open it up. This does not work if the chests are locked, but lucky for me, I got blessed and the chests were unlocked. And didn't have a ton of good loot, but it did have some diamonds and some more lapis there. Now it's time to go up and retrieve the second chest. Since it was a double chest, you can only pick up one at a time. I go back up there and successfully pick it up. Zombies are coming after me. Luckily, it's daylight outside, so they catch on fire and end up dying before I get to me. I was just thinking right there that it would really suck if I just splatted on the grass instead of making it into the water. I got some more glowstone and some pet armor that I can smelt down for the ingots that it gives. Even though it's just gold, gold is still useful. I end up taking the gold blocks, or the diamond blocks rather, and the single diamonds that I got to make myself some diamond armor. Make myself the boots, the pants, and I look at the qualities. Not bad qualities. I got pretty lucky. And I forgot to mention that the chest plate that I got with heating is a masterful quality, so it has protection, or locational protection and locational armor toughness with that. There are very bad qualities that you can get that has like -3 locational armor and such as like skill issue. I got lucky and everything that I crafted wasn't a red quality that gives you minus locational armor or minus locational armor toughness. Some of them will give you minus speed and stuff like that. Make myself the final piece of diamond armor that I need, being the diamond helmet, and then I smelt my iron armor since I do not need that anymore. I do hold on to the iron chestplate though, since like I said, my diamond chestplate has the heating enchantment, and the heating enchantment in the savanna and desert biomes are terrible because that's just going to make you overheat even faster. After grabbing the best loot at the top of the tower, I still need more XP to enchant the diamond armor that I have and level up my building again. So I'm just going to go floor by floor trying to mine the spawners from the back to get the XP from the spawners. It wasn't working out too well there because of the cave spiders do poison you. And poison won't kill you in RLCraft just like it won't in regular Minecraft, but it will give you half a heart on all of your body parts, making you like insta-die when something gets too close to you. I sleep to heal up, and I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep on at this battle tower, trying to get level 12 in building to enchant my armor before I move on. Luckily, there were some mobs on the first floor again that I could take out pretty easily here, pretty safely. They can't get through that crack. I take them out, get all the XP from them. It's still not going to be enough, but it gets me closer. Make my way back up the battle tower here, and I'm gonna go back to try to mine some more spawners. This one doesn't have cave spiders, so it's a little bit better of an outcome for me where I can actually get the XP. Now I have enough to level up my building to where I can use an anvil now. Instead of jumping straight back down though, I'm going to smack at these mobs' feet so that I can get a little bit more XP, so that maybe instead of just using the anvil, I can actually put the books on. I don't know how many experience levels it costs just yet though to put the prop 4 on my helmet and put the feather falling 3 on my boots. So after killing these mobs, I'm going to go down and check. I want to put the protection 4 book on my helmet, specifically my helmet because of the locational based health system. Your head is usually what the skeletons and mobs aim for first. So with prop 4 on my helmet, that protects me the most. Sometimes they do aim for your body, obviously, or your legs, but the most common thing they aim for is your head. Luckily, it only costs 4 levels to put protection 4 on the helmet. I want to go ahead and take off my boots and check to see what feather falling 3 would cost. So I go ahead and put my boots and feather falling 3 book in there, and it costs only 3 levels. That is something that I want to do, but protection 4 on my helmet is obviously going to come first. Feather falling 3 is helpful, but protection 4 is much more helpful. That zombie there had some superpowers, and then he sent his friend the cave spider after me. I got pretty scared. Even though my health didn't get that low here, I ended up eating the maca meat for the absorption hearts, and that did pay off. I don't think it would have got me in that low health even if I didn't eat it, but switching to my saber in time does that 25% damage negation. So every time that I am in a tough situation, I go ahead and switch to that for the damage negation effect that it gives. Trying to level up here to get level 4 to put protection 4 on my helmet. I'm going to take out the easy mobs first instead of trying to go back up mining some more spawners. I figure I'd take out just a couple mobs that are jumping out the sides of the building trying to get at me to level up enough to use that protection 4 book. I was right. I got to level 5. I went over there and immediately put that prop 4 on my helmet. That makes me feel even more safe. I still don't feel safe. Let's be honest here. It is RLCraft after all, and it's just on my helmet. The skeleton actually put up a pretty decent fight there. It took quite a few shots to kill him there. This iron sword does have the levitator effect, but if the mob's in the water, it doesn't make them float up out of it, which is kind of crappy, but it's alright. Just from killing that skeleton there, I got enough levels in XP to level up, or to enchant my diamond boots with feather falling 3. That right there, that boss bar that was yellow, means he's a champion mob. Champion mobs always drop an enchanted book. That was not that great of a book, but I was gonna pick it up nonetheless. Fire aspect 1 isn't anything that is game breaking, but it helps. His friend wanted to revenge his death, but that did not work out too well for him. I turn around and there's mobs jumping out the window again at me. These things want me dead bad. This is your average battle tower experience with mobs just coming out of everywhere. They can be 3-4 floors up and they still will try to pathfind to you, jumping out windows into water after you. It is crazy. Luckily, fighting in the water makes it 10 times easier because they can't move at you very fast at all. I finished taking out as many of them that are going to jump out the window at me as possible. I do, now that I put all of the books that I had for my armor on, I want to see if I can get a better sword. I have one with a vampirism 1 and one with levitator. I combine those together, costing me 7 levels. And then I also have a looting book. The looting book is helpful, especially in a battle tower when you're fighting cave spiders, because cave spiders will drop a bauble called a bazaar. The bazaar gives you poison immunity, and that's what I'm really wanting, because cave spiders aren't very tough mobs to fight after you have poison immunity. It's just, and it's not even that rare of a drop to get a bazaar, but every level of looting does help. So from then on, my main goal is to pretty much take out every single cave spider possible with that looting effect until I get a Bazoar. But as you can see there, he died to fall damage from the levitator effect, so probably wasn't the smartest idea to put those two swords together if I was going to try to get looting on it. I probably should have kept them separated, but, you know, hindsight's 2020. Go ahead and smack these mobs around in the hallway here. From the second to the first floor, I take them out, and I decide it's pretty much time for me to move on. I'm going to give up on trying to get a Bazoar, and I'm going to go on somewhere else. I come across Silex on my way. Silex are very useful because they do drop Lapis Lazuli, but Silex meat is what you can use for avian treats. Avian treats are what you use to tame a flying mount in this game. Most people's first flying mount is either a rock or a Raikou, and both of them are tamed with avian treats, which means cooked Silex meat. So taking out every Silex I see in the meantime is definitely a goal that I am after. The saddle is really the hardest thing to make to get yourself a flying mount, meaning it takes troll leather, troll tusk, and amphitheater or stymphalian feathers, which means you have to explore quite a bit to get those ingredients. Amphitheaters and stymphalians only spawn in jungle biomes. I think stymphalian also spawn in swamps, but amphitheaters are strictly in jungle biomes. An amphitheater is also a pretty good early game mount if you can find a jungle, because they can't be, you can't use a soul stone on them rather, but they can be tamed and rode without a saddle, so you don't have to go through and get all of those hard ingredients to ride an amphitheater. But they're pretty much a one and done use, because once you get off of them, they pretty much just run away immediately. I take out those couple spawners. I don't want to take out the whole entire broken battle tower. I didn't feel it was really worth my time, but I did take out those couple spawners there for the XP. I want to level up my magic to magic level 8 so that when I do get enough for a heart container, I can use it as soon as possible. I make my way to this desert, even though I'm already hot, but because deserts can have dragon carcasses where you can get dragon bones and a dragon skull. I find an acacia village on my way, and I immediately get in it and have to jump into a pot, or not a pot of water, a hole of water that I made. I make myself a reforging station. That's why those reapers come in handy, giving you obsidian to make those reforging stations. And I'm not going to waste all of my resources on reforging, but I do want to get rid of some of the crappy qualities that I have. This one wasn't that crappy of a quality. I did want a better one though, and I did get a slightly better one here. I ended up keeping on reforging. I did have quite a bit of gold, and I did use quite a bit of gold to reforge it. I end up stopping because I want to reforge the other one, because you don't lose the bottom modifier. Just the top one changes. This one didn't have any modification at all. That's why I decided to reforge it, even though I only had 7 gold ingots left. And it's I only did it a couple times and left ungraceful, because I really did not want to end with like a skill issue or dented quality. Reapers spawn occasionally when you try to sleep at night, which if you're low health really does put you in kind of a tough situation. Luckily I wasn't, and it did let me sleep. Like a Night's mobs doesn't keep you from sleeping with there are monsters nearby, like in vanilla Minecraft, but regular zombies and stuff like that will make it where you can't sleep if they're too close. I take off my tool belt. Since I have quite a bit of iron, I reforged that, and I did get the best quality, which is Undying. It gives me 3% damage resistance, and it gives me an additional 2 max health. This is how my armor is looking right now. I wanted to go ahead and reforge my iron chestplate, since I'm going to be wearing that more than my diamond chest plate right now since I am in a hot biome. I go ahead and leave off with the protective quality. It's not really worth trying to get masterful because it's not like it's my end game chest plate. I go ahead and make myself a canteen with the leather and then turn that into an iron canteen so that it can hold 6 uses of water. The thing about a canteen though is you do have to purify your water that you scoop up in your canteen. That's not that hard. You do have to make charcoal and make charcoal filters with paper. It does output 3 charcoal filters, so it isn't awful. You get 6 drinks of water for 1 charcoal filter, so it's a lot better than using water bottles. I've come across this hippogriff and this cockatrice fighting. The only reason why I got involved there because I figured it would be a pretty easy fight, which it was, and there is an additional wither bone for me to make, like I was saying, dragon bone weapons. What I'm really after here is sugarcane because I turned all of my sugarcane into paper already when I really wasn't thinking, and I could turn it into sugar and use a block of redstone with my potion ring that I crafted to make me a potion ring of speed. I finally get that sugarcane I was looking for, make myself my first potion ring of speed, and unfortunately the reforging that I did with it already doesn't stay once you turn that potion ring into a potion ring of speed. I go ahead and make myself another one when I get back to the village. I put it on, and it's not really the best qualities. Like I was saying, I put it on because the second modifier only appears once you put it on for the first time. I go ahead and try to reforge, even though I don't have that many gold ingots, but it's better than nothing. I decided to take a chance. That one was athletic, so it wasn't a bad quality, but not that great either. This one, my first roll, I got healthy. That is +2 max health. That is the second best in my opinion. After that, I see these magma blocks here at the blacksmith. The magma blocks with blaze powder, which I already got blaze rods and powder from that first battle tower, can be used to make a potion ring of strength, which I much rather have a potion ring of speed and a potion ring of strength rather than 2 speed. I go on, I leave the Acacia village, and I do find myself a dragon carcass here. And I can't really use the dragon bones yet because you need 24 in attack to use a dragon bone weapon. But I was hoping for a tier 5 dragon skull so that I could make myself the dragon's eye bauble, which is an endgame bauble. It was only a tier 4 dragon though, but still I kept the bones for a later date. I go back to the Acacia village and I start trading with villagers to level up my XP and see if I can find any good enchants from them. I would like to level up to where I can start using diamond weapons since I have that diamond sword with education 1. No good enchants though, so I click the waystone to activate it and move on to this modded desert temple type structure. It has always this guaranteed chest here with this armor always has the same enchants every single time, and then it also has these stray spawners. If the spawners were to go off and you kill enough strays, if you get lucky enough, it will give you the ring of overclocking, which makes it where you aren't affected by slowness. But really what it's used for is making the Ankh charm or shield late to end game. Obviously I'm in the desert, so I start having hyperthermia, so I have to sit in a puddle of water. Again, I go ahead and eat myself some maca meat so I don't take any damage from the hyperthermia. Hypothermia does stack, so it does increasingly more damage. I rest in my bed, and that is the end of the first episode.